is that we zoom out and zoom back in for the last game to talk about in our more in-depth reviews. We got LSU at Clemson. Ugh. Another one we missed, guys. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I thought going into this, I looked into a lot of these teams' rosters and how they were being built. This is one where we were going into it. Will the Bayou Bengals O-line give Garrett Nussmeier enough time? And I think on paper, technically they did, but still, I don't think at least what they got away with in this game. It was a lot of short passes. I don't want to say I was comparing Garrett Nussmeier to Tom Brady, but Tom Brady knows how to throw a slant pass pretty well. I mean, that's the reason why he won so many Super Bowls, won so many games, was so good at that level. Garrett Nussmeier took what Clemson gave him, and they ran with it. He ended up with 230 yards, one touchdown, 28 for 38. And one thing that I was going into the season just really worried with was the approach for the LSU offense and trying to manage the play clock, trying to keep the offense on the field. Not a lot of 3 outs is like that needs to change. And I think in this contest, they were able to be a little bit more effective. Garrett Nussmeier, again, with those short passes. I think in the last season, a lot of those would have ended up incomplete because, again, that was his first starting year. Looks like he's just gotten back into that groove, is able to distribute the ball, even with some of the newer targets. Aaron Anderson was the most targeted guy, 6 receptions for 99 yards. He had a couple big plays. Juwan Johnson, second targeted guy, 5 receptions, 31 yards. So yeah, when you're only getting like targeted so much, but you're not getting a lot of yardage, you're just taking what the defense gave him. Clemson did not allow any big play behind him. Everything really was some kind of drag, slant route, something that was in the flats. And then it was the yards after catch is kind of the difference in what LSU got in terms of big plays. On the ground, they did all right for themselves as well. 108. Caden Durham, 17 carries for 74 yards. He just needs to be more featured, even more than that, I think. And this LSU offense is going to be just all right. He also had 3 receptions for 22 yards. That was pretty solid with him. I mean, he's just a Swiss Army knife for this offense. We should expect that to be going forward throughout this year. Big targets. I was a little worried going into the season. Again, the big enthusiasm for Garrett Nussmeier. I understand. Like, not that I'm like totally sold yet. Again, he's going to go up against eventually some even better secondaries. I know Clemson pretty solid for the ACC, but once he gets into that SEC schedule, I think he's going to have some even harder times in defenses kind of having the same approach, but they're going to be maybe a little bit more talented than Clemson's secondary. Regardless, one of my big worries was the tight end. Mason Taylor gone to the NFL. Then he was replacing that guy with Trey'Dez Green, who is a former basketball player, now is doing football full-time, or at least that's what I read in the offseason. Apparently, maybe he's still playing basketball. He had the winning touchdown there in the late part of, I think it was the third quarter, if I'm not mistaken, or if it was early on in the fourth quarter, is when they finally scored that touchdown to take the lead. He was a guy that was targeted quite a bit. I would assume going forward, he's going to be just his go-to. I think more of the play design stuff. Bauer Sharp, the tight end coming in from Oklahoma, he's going to be more of a guy, again, for play designs, finding himself open quite a bit. He had a fumble, unfortunately, that didn't lead to anything, which was kind of lucky. If I'm not mistaken, it was a missed field goal. But I might be misremembering that. Regardless, those two guys definitely need to be stepping up. Have to heavily rely on them, especially when they run into some really good secondaries. But going back to the offensive line, is Garrett Nussmeier going to have enough time? I thought with what they had Adams and I think Jones there in the tackle positions. I might be saying one of those tackles last name's wrong. They ended up also having, I think DJ Chester might be having an issue with them starting off the season, so that's why he was coming off and on the field there at guard. So we'll see how that happens. I thought Thompson coming in from Northwestern and Braylon Moore, they were all right. It didn't seem like there was too much pressures coming in through the middle. The stunts were coming more between the tackles on the guards or in around the guards from the Clemson defensive line, who did definitely get to Garrett Nussmeier. They had 1 sack, but 8 tackles for loss. Those guys were doing, I think, a decent job in slowing down this LSU offense, only allowing 17 points. It's just the Clemson offense really let this defense down here at home. PJ Woods, or not PJ Woods, Peter Woods, TJ Parker, Will Help. Like, there's only so much those guys could have done. I think even Sammy Brown and Woodaz at linebacker, like they were just all over the field, being able to, take down whatever was thrown at them. Because again, Garrett Nussmeier wasn't throwing anything deep. It was just basically balls on the run, short stuff, to where those guys that I just mentioned, linebacker, Woods and Brown, were having to, make some tackles in the open field. And I think they did an excellent job. Sammy Brown ended up with the second most tackles, 11. Total 8 solo, 1 tackle for loss. And it was Ronan Hanafin who had the most production. He had a tackle for loss, 12 total, 6 solo. And then Woodaz was third. Avion Terrell, I think he's going to be the best defensive back in the ACC, maybe top 10 here in the country. He had a pretty solid game in covering Aaron Anderson throughout that game. And yeah, that good defensive performance, just wasn't good enough on offense. Kate Klubnik, a little disappointing. I thought, the wide receiver core would have been more than enough. Antonio Williams, I think, picked up a nick during the game and then came back on the field. Didn't seem like he was 100%. And just was not a good night. He got over 200 yards, 230, but no touchdown passes, 1 interception. The 1 touchdown was on the ground. It was like a punch in at the goal line for Adam Randall. And then the rushing, LSU's defensive front, they played pretty good. More than pretty good. Only allowing 31 yards rushing. That's just disgusting. Disgusting stuff. That means when Kate Klubnik needs to pass it on 3rd and long, the probabilities of passing the first down marker is just lower. And if you could do that all night, you're definitely putting yourself in a lot of winning situations. My points difference, because I thought LSU's offensive line would have got overwhelmed, was in favor for Clemson by 13 points. Ended up again going the other way, 7 for LSU. Kate Klubnik, not that he hasn't improved or gotten better, but against higher profile defenses. And again, like I said in that quick preview, I think this year we're going to be talking more about the LSU defense rather than the offense. And that's kind of just something at least new in recent times, because go back to the Joe Burrow years to now, it's been mostly an offensive powerhouse. And then if you go back, 10 years, you're getting more into those defensive eras where they were more dominant. If you remember the Honey Badger, who actually I think retired from the NFL, that just makes me feel super old. But those years, how dominant they were on defense, that's kind of maybe where they're going back to here. The Weeks brothers did all right for themselves. But I think it was PJ Woodland who had the best night. 5 tackles, 5 solo ones, a sack, and that which turned into a tackle for loss. Harold Perkins put a lot of pressure on the quarterback too. He had 1 tackle for loss, or 1.5 tackles for loss. One of those being a sack. And it looks like he might be a little bit more useful in his new position there at the starback. But yeah, unfortunately missed it. Garrett Nussmeier was more than good enough in the short passing game to allow LSU to stay out on the field and win the Battle of the Death Valleys. And now we can finally say the true Death Valley lies in Baton Rouge.